Good afternoon, this is Toni Gumeringer and I'm with the Bismarck Education Association bargaining team.
And I'm Beth Romfo, and I'm also on the negotiations team.
We're here this afternoon to give you a little bit of an update about how bargaining is going. We're going to give you our proposals that we've presented to Bismarck Public Schools, and then we'll follow with their proposals. Our first proposal is concerning salary. We initially proposed 5% for 2017-2018 and 6% for 2018-2019. Our proposal number 2 was a reduction in force. That was to clean up some language that's in that policy. It was really gender specific. It had a lot of he in there, and so we wanted to change that so that it was more gender neutral, and it also needed to reflect some changes in the positions.
Right. With the elementary, P through 5, middle school, those kind of things.
Our third proposal was on inconvenience pay. This year at the elementary level, when they couldn't find substitute teachers, they added that the teachers would go into other classrooms, and then that teacher that took additional students would get some inconvenience pay for that. We proposed putting that into the negotiated agreement, because it did affect the terms and conditions of employment. Our proposal number 4 was association leave, and in that one we proposed being able to take some of that association leave that we are currently have, which is 15 days, and being able to use that during the legislature to present or at the legislature any time that we were asked. So that was number 4. Number 5 is very important to us. Number 5 is a safe workplace policy. It just proposes that the workplace be safe for us. We know that our workspace is shared with the kids, and we feel if they're safe and we feel safe, that's a good thing. So that's purely a new policy, and we really want to see that one go through. Number 6 is the terms and conditions of the agreement. That's at the end of the negotiated agreement, and we just wanted to say that the current agreement will continue if we are unable to reach a new agreement. So just a little bit of change in wording in that one. Number 7 was a staff development day. We proposed taking that staff development day closest to midterm and using half of that as a work day. So the day that was closest to the end of the second semester would be the day that we would use for that, a half a day, a work day instead of staff development. And we thought that was feasible because they're talking about using a new Thrive program that would individualize some of the staff development, and so we thought that they could carve a little bit of that time and give us some time to get caught up on paperwork at that time. The 8th proposal that we had was the length of the school day. We wanted to define the length of the school day. Obviously it's different in all 3 settings. There is a different definition for elementary than there is for middle school, than there is for high school, just because of the time parameters. But we wanted to get that minimum 8-hour day defined for us, and so that was our proposal number 8. Number 9 was a policy that several people from BEA asked us to bring forward, and it was an early retirement policy. That would have allowed individuals who retire, and on the year that they are first eligible to retire, that they would get 1/4 of their salary for the next 4 years if they met the requirements of how many years they had taught at BPS and those kinds of things. Our proposal number 10 speaks to the written grievance procedure, and on that one we just wanted to add that the advocacy chair, the association advocacy chair, so the BEA advocacy chair could write a grievance or sign a grievance for a group of people. Now they still would have to have the facts and all of those things linked to individuals, but in the event that a group was grieving something, that we could just have that chair sign it instead of all the individual grievances. Number 11 was in the policy for the insurance benefits, and that was deleting what we felt was a redundant phrase as otherwise stated in that policy. Number 12 was a little bit of contract change. When people were going for a lane change, you have to have a letter from the college or university saying that you had completed the class, and we proposed having a letter just from the professor saying that they had successfully completed the course in order to make that lane change. Because sometimes it is tough. The times that they're asked to do that are September and January, and we know the schools are all busy, at that time, trying to get students in and processed. Our number 13 was paternity leave. That allowed new fathers to take 5 days of their sick leave once the child is released from the hospital. Again, that was something that our members asked for. And number 14 is our final proposal, was on extracurricular pay. That one related especially to the elementary level, when we are asked to come back for the evenings for mandated nights such as math night, reading night,
Open houses, PTO meetings.
Yep. Bingo night, archery night, we've had a number. So that was just asking that be added to the extracurricular schedule, and that people be paid for that little bit of time that they come back, so they can afford the babysitters and everything else that comes in with that. Okay, so let's switch to the Bismarck School Board proposals. They had 7 proposals. Their proposal number 1 related to the CTE policy, Career and Technical Education Policy. And that policy, they just wanted to add that people would be allowed to count 15 credits in education towards their lane change. So they added the words "in education" to that proposal.
And it could be undergraduate.
Yes, and it was undergraduate degrees, correct. Number 2 of theirs dealt with prep time. They wanted us to use an average 50-minute block of prep time rather than right now we have a 50-minute block of prep time. So putting that average in there. Number 3 related to the sick leave bank. It increased the number of days from 360 to 500 for people. If there were less than 500 days, people would have to contribute another day. It also dropped the number of days that they would allow people to take from the sick leave bank from 80 to 40. So that's one of their proposals. There's a few other things in that one too that we are really looking at closely. Their number 4 related to insurance, and I think this one we need some feedback from you guys so please give us some feedback on this. What this one does for the insurance is, if you are both employees of Bismarck Public Schools, they are proposing dropping the ability to have single plus dependents, and a married couple would have to take a family policy, one family policy between the two. They're saying that there's some benefits to them in cost benefits, but I think this one might be a little bit of a stickler for us, in that some people are actually going to be losing that double coverage on their children. So this is something we're looking at closely again. Number 6 of theirs was the Grievance Policy. This one their proposal related to when a teacher wanted to bring someone with them to any kind of meeting with the principal, that they would have to give 5 days written notice prior to bringing somebody to represent them or be present at the meeting. And currently we don't have that restriction of having to give them that written notice of when that is going to happen.
You did skip the sick leave bank.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 5 was the sick leave bank. Let's back up a little bit. And that decreases the number of sick leave days to 10 per year for the 9 and 10 month employees. And that one, again, that's decreasing our benefits. And like I said, we're working hard not to do any of that for you. Their final proposal was the one that probably is going to interest you and get you the most excited about this. They are proposing for their salary proposal was freezing teachers at their current step for the next 2 years. So that means you would not get a step increase for the year of experience. You would stay exactly where you are unless you had a lane change for educational credits. So for the 17-18, 18-19 school years, there would be no increase at all in compensation.
That's 2 years. Yep.
So those are kind of the proposals that have come both ways. We really need your input on what you would like to see us do. We have a email address. It's bargaining4bea@gmail.com. And if you could give us input on what you would like to see or which of those policies are most important to you, that would really be good for us. We're hoping to go live with these updates in the future, and so if you want to keep informed. The other thing that we also need you to do is watch the email address that you have given BEA, because at some point in this we will have to have a meeting and decide whether we want to ratify or not ratify an agreement. And so please keep us informed and be aware throughout the summer, because we are still going to need you to be a part of this. So thank you. Let us know whatever you need.